Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new review. You know, you've seen the title and you've seen the description, and you're waiting for a very long name, and you're not going to get it. This, of course, is Oud by MFK. You know, you guys know, if you watch the channel every week, that Elin reached out a few weeks ago and asked me to check out BR540. So I'm so glad I did, and I threw in 3 more samples from this house. I had never smelled anything from this house before then, and I have enjoyed every single day of the last month. I loved the first 3 fragrances, and this one is no exception. Before I dive in on the notes, though, and the review itself, let me remind you that every week I do my reviews in 4 versions. I do in Portuguese, Spanish, then I do one in English, which is in 4 minutes or less with no editing, and I do it in one take. So if you're ever busy and you want to just check out some of the fragrances that I reviewed, go to the short English version, and I always do it in 4 minutes or less, and I just cut to the chase and give you the skinny. So in this one, though, we sit down and we have fun, and we conversate, as they say nowadays, and it's I don't have any time constraints, and I have lots of bloopers and et cetera, et cetera. So the second thing I'd like to say too before I start is, yet again, we have had an absolute unstoppable force of new subscribers since last Friday. In fact, oh yes, we are marching on our way to breaking the 500 subscriber mark during the month of July. It will happen. Don't know if it'll be the 1st, don't know if it'll be the 31st, but it will happen. And I really appreciate that so much. You know, I was so happy when I got to 100 subscribers because I got my own URL and I could just say, you know, go to YouTube, That Cologne Guy. And here I am at 500. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the support, and well, it means a lot. Finally, I'll just say, if you like the content, if you like the channel, always give it a like, comment, and subscribe, and forward these episodes on to your fellow frag heads. All right, so, well, you know it's called Oud, so let's get the obvious out of the way. It has oud in it. Now, when you first sprayed this, I can tell you right away, I immediately knew that this was Southeast Asian oud. Oud is generally harvested from 3 places. And I'll also mention, too, you guys know how notes kind of have like a 10-year run where they're really, really in and hyped. Oud was, I don't know, it was like maybe, I want to say like 2006 to 16, something like that. You guys can, you know, tell me if you think it was different, but this was a 2012 release right in the middle of the oud heyday, as it were. So there are 3 places where oud is generally harvested. Number 1 is India. And it tends to be one of 2 types, in my opinion. Number 1 is it tends to be medicinal, or it tends to be fecal or very foul, has a foul odor to it, and people will often refer to it as a dirty oud. So if you know someone who does not like oud at all, it's either because, number 1, they didn't like the hype, or they have smelled it and it was a dirty oud and that was not for them. And so it was probably, not necessarily, but probably from India. The second country would be Indonesia, and Indonesian oud tends to be more woody, grassy, and herbal. And then the third one is Southeast Asia, usually Cambodia. And that type of oud tends to be very pleasant smelling. People will refer to it even as relaxing, and they will also refer to it as the opposite of dirty oud. So that is a clean oud. So if when people in reviews talk about it's a very clean oud, it's most likely, not necessarily, but most likely from Southeast Asia. This is an ultra clean oud. This is almost like dryer sheet meets oud. Okay, so it's got to be Southeast Asian, and I did look here right before I started recording today, and it is from Laos. So the oud here is Laos. So the good news is, if you like a clean oud, you're going to like this kind of smell. The bad news is, of course, because it is so clean, it's highly sought after. It tends to be over harvested, and so the only companies that can afford paying a higher price are niche companies. So you will pay a pretty penny, my friend, oftentimes for oud that is harvested from Southeast Asia. The question you have to ask yourself is it worth it? To me, the answer is yes. I really, in fact, I'd almost even say this is kind of oud for people who don't like oud. Meaning, if you find it way too in your face, if you've smelled a dirty oud or just a very, very medicinal oud and it's not your thing, this one is extremely pleasant. And this one, again, is almost like oud meets dryer sheet. Okay, so that is oud. It also has saffron, so some people have compared it to BR540. I think every episode we have to find an excuse, a way to work in BR540. I personally don't think it smells like it. I also don't think, I saw some people saying it has DNA of BR540. I wouldn't say that. It definitely has saffron, so does BR540. I see them as very distinct releases, though. This is a 2012 woody amber, by the way. So, and then you also get patchouli, and then another wood element, which I later saw was cedar. And finally, elemi, but elemi, of course, is the note that is used to emulate amber. So, again, if they're going to call this a woody amber, you're almost always going to see elemi. And then, of course, it's called oud, and then the other wood is cedar. So, again, kind of the same thing about this house. Very, very pleasant. I talked to some of you guys recently about this. When it comes to this house, here's my impression of this house. If you want very pleasant smelling, luxurious, well-made, quality ingredients, this is a niche house that you need to check out. If you're looking for ultra daring, I don't see that. Only just in the 4 fragrances that I've sampled from this house. So something to consider. I personally love it. This house is skyrocketing up the charts for me when it comes to favorite houses. I don't know if I would want to say favorite of all time, but I had, 4 weeks ago, I had never tried anything from this house. The last 4 weeks have been truly a pleasure to wear these fragrances every single day. So those are the notes. But I think the main thing for you is to know what type of oud you're getting into. So, when it comes to oud, again, we're looking at kind of a 2006 to 16 heyday. And if you are new to the oud scene, then you need to make sure you know what you're getting into. So again, this is Southeast Asian, very, very clean, refined, sought after. I love it. It's a fantastic smell. So and by the way, this is an EDP. Last week I did an EDT, which was amorous. I liked it, but that one didn't last. We are back to EDPs, and I am so happy. And of course, in MFK style, this is a 70 milliliter. All right, so when it comes to longevity, projection, and sillage, good news abounds again, my friends, because this is, of course, an EDP, and it really plays out like an EDP that you would expect. Projection is wonderful. It's not beast mode. This one does stay relatively close to you. I mean, I would put it in an elbow's length away from your body within the first 4 to 6 hours, and then it sits closer to you. But this is not. I wouldn't call this a full-on skin scent by any stretch of the imagination. When it comes to the projection, so like I said, elbow's length, and then you're going to get, for longevity, I'm going to say 6 to 8. 4 to 6 really is where people will pick this up, but the final 2 hours will be, again, this is one of those fragrances, though, that will draw the other person in. So I do think it is good for romantic night outs, because again, it's this notion of people wanting to get closer to you to smell, especially because it is such a pleasant fragrance. And finally, for sillage, I will just simply say, this one is kind of in the middle, isn't it? Because the first 2 to 4 hours, you will distinctly, if you're walking in and out of rooms, people will be able to pick up the fragrance. And then I would say 4 to 8 hour mark, probably not so much. they'd have to get pretty close to you, so your scent trail would be quite minimal in the second half of your 8-hour shift should you wear it to the office. So that is projection, longevity, and sillage. When it comes to versatility, I will say this. This one is highly, highly versatile. This one is another one that is going to be like easy for any age group. Gender is not really an issue. So here's the thing when it comes to gender. I differ from what a lot of people have said, because most people say it's unisex, leans masculine. And I said this a while back too from another fragrance from this house, but I kind of feel the same way. I kind of feel like this one is definitely unisex, but I feel like it's not that it leans feminine. I just think that it would smell even better on a woman's skin. So I have a feeling that this would be like, when it comes to gender, I'm going to say 50-50 though. I'm going to say 50-50 when it comes to actually people owning this one. I think this would be 50% women, 50% men, because I think really the bottom line is the note itself. And as I said, I think a lot of people are going to have this in their collection who are a little lukewarm of most oud fragrances, because this is kind of the one in their collection they're going to have as their oud fragrance. And I fully understand that because it smells fantastic. So, again, age group. I love this about this house because age group is any age. We've already said it's completely unisex. I've said it, from me personally, it would smell. So, on a man's skin, I would call it pleasant and comforting. Maybe even inviting. It's just a very nice fragrance. On a woman's skin, though, I would actually say even alluring or seductive. I think this is a very, very nice smell, and I think it would smell. I enjoyed wearing it this entire week. I just think it would smell even better on a woman's skin. Age group there. When it comes to seasons, I guess I would say kind of what I've been saying recently about this house, right? Which is pretty much every season except for the high heat. So this would be, for me, this would be a winter, fall, and I would even creep into the spring, and then not so much maybe for the higher temperatures. But here I am wearing it in June, right? We've been in the 80s here. And I had a blast wearing this one. You guys, I mentioned before, I come in and out. I'm walking a lot. I'm going outdoors a lot, and this one really held strong. I really like this one, and I would say basically any time of the year except for maybe 90 and up. But even then, I'd probably consider it. It's very, very nice. Now, when it comes to event, I've already said that it's highly versatile. So if I had to think of one, I guess I would see this a little bit more as an office scent on the guy side, and for a little bit more of a date night, romantic night out scent on the women's side. But I mean that in the true sense of a little bit more. This really would be a great gift. It'd be another fragrance that would be perfect for people who are like, yeah, I don't really care about seasons. I just want to smell nice and get compliments. End of story. This is also a nice one for if you're worried about, clearing out a room. This is extreme. I don't know how anyone would be offended by this fragrance. I would call it high. This is as inoffensive as it gets for an oud fragrance. I certainly tip my cap to them when it comes to the outright smell. I really, really appreciate this one. All right, so the big question becomes, for the review, for the rating, am I going to go a rating for me, or am I going to rate it for a woman's skin? And I have decided to go with a woman's skin. I would personally give this a 4 out of 5. I've really, really enjoyed wearing this one. I would definitely want a bottle. It is an ultra clean oud. It's going to be, as crowd-pleasing can get for this note. Fantastic. Original, smells divine. 4 out of 5 on me. When I think of on a woman's skin, I would definitely go 5 out of 5. So I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 yet again for this house. MFK really, really impresses. And so I will do the the honors, I will put the sprays on me, and then after that, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about the medals, the Olympic medals that I will give out for this house of the samples that I've tried in the last 4 weeks. Okay, so we're going to go with 5 out of 5 sprays yet again for this house. 1 on each wrist, 1 on each side of the neck, and how about on Celtic? We'll do it again. All right, so 5 out of 5 sprays. Here we go. Boom. 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 And boom. All right, folks, there you have it. Another review by the boards. I can't believe another week has flown by. Thank you so much again for supporting my channel. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next Friday. And I bid adieu, sadly, to this house for a while. Always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. All right, so welcome to the bonus feature. In the bonus feature this week, I'm going to give out my Olympic medals for the 4 fragrances that I have sampled from this house in the last month, including an honorable mention. So I gave out 1 4 and 3 5s. I was in the giving mood when it came to this house. So number 4, meaning the honorable mention, has to be, of course, Amorous Homme. Really, really liked it. I mean, that tells you how good this house is, though. How much I liked this house is if that one is the honorable mention, and it was a 4 out of 5, and I absolutely loved it. Now, the bronze medal is going to go to Aqua Celestia. Really, really liked that one. Obviously, I gave it a 5 out of 5. Very, very fresh. Really appreciated that one. The silver medal for me has to be BR 540. I really, really appreciated that one. Love the saffron. It will always have a special place in my heart because it was the first one that I smelled from this house, all thanks to Elin. So thank you so much for introducing me to that fragrance in this house. And then actually the gold medal for me is Oud. Yep. It's not Oud Sport Nuit Extrême Noir. It is simply called Oud. And it gets my gold medal from this house. You know, in fact, I'll just say really quick, I had a moment where I thought to myself, I bet Francis Kurkdjian was born in 1970. So I went and looked it up before I started recording, and it was May of 69. Here's what I think. This is just my little theory, okay? This is definitely not going to make the main episode. I'll put this in the bonus feature, but that's all right. I think he wanted to put, if you notice, milliliter size are always by 5. So they're like 75, 70, 75, 80, whatever, right? I think because he was born in 69, I think he made this 70 because that was the closest measurement to the year in which he was born. That is my theory on this quirky size. Don't get it. I don't like it.